Boo! We are heading into Nightreign for the first time. I haven't even hit the main menu, just wanted to record, and I could already feel like being sick. So, I'm not gonna have this, like I said, haven't even opened the game. But I can already feel being sick. So, I'm not gonna actually play the game. But I'm gonna look through the options, I'm gonna go through and just take a look at everything that is allowed. I don't know if these are the same for Elden Ring, but I know that I have my master volume on 5. And then I have these at 3 different things. I think 3, 5, and 7. Could be wrong about that, but... So we have game options. Toggle auto lock on, which I keep this on off. Automatically target with sorceries and incantations with no lock on. I don't think we've ever had that before, but I'm going to keep it on. Controller vibration. Map cursor speed. I never trust default settings, so I'm just going to have this at 7. Because speed is usually too low for me. Set whether opening main menu will automatically return to the last tab that was opened. I don't know what that means, so I'm going to go with no for now. Yes, I usually have camera speed at 7. For precision aiming, alright, so that's when you're looking, or like, aiming with a bow. I'll give that a 7. 7 is usually a good option. Turn speed adjustment, I don't know what that means. Off, I always keep this on off. I also keep this on off. If you don't know what these are, when you move, the camera will automatically reposition. So let's say you're walking to the left, the camera will start looking to the left, and it can throw you off. Sure. Yes. Game guide that describes new features. Sure, why not? A set device for on-screen prompts. So in the bottom left, you have circle and triangle because I use a PlayStation controller. And then there's always have it on gamepad. And then there's mouse and keyboard. And this, like, I play on PC, so it usually has either mouse and keyboard or Xbox controller. This full-on has PlayStation controller inputs on PC. That's very nice. I wasn't expecting that. Cross-region play. I'm gonna have it on no. So that means that we'll only go with people in our region. Just for, like, better ping. This... So, you may want to call me crazy. If we can even find it here. So I changed this to X. And over here I changed this to triangle. Is there something else that's triangle? Detailed view. to a detailed display. I guess we could do that. I guess. Now, the reason I do this is because in every game up to this point, my headphones died. Anyways, I got that fixed. But in every other FromSoft game up to this point, or up until Elden Ring, the bottom button for me, X, was the interact button. So like picking up items, examining things, opening doors. And so I stick with that for consistency. And then I go with jump for triangle, because triangle is kind of the weird button. Because in Dark Souls and Bloodborne, like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, along with Bloodborne, X was always interact, circle was always dodge, and square was always the quick item slot. But triangle changed, because in Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, Dark Souls 2 might have been different, but I know that for Dark Souls 1 and 3, triangle was to two-hand your weapon, but in Bloodborne it was to heal. And now in Elden Ring, you have a jump button. And so triangle kind of changes from game to game. So I have triangles just the weird whatever button. And also it's the up button, because it's like X is bottom, circle is left, square is right, triangle is up. And when you jump, you go up. So it's the up button. So we got that. That we can do that. This, for some reason, trying to change targets on mouse and keyboard is like impossible. I have a pretty big mouse pad. Like the short side of the mouse pad goes from the tip of my middle finger to my elbow. Massive mouse pad. And I have to go nearly my entire, like the entire short end of the mouse pad just to swap targets. So. And then, yep, that looks good. And with all that out of the way, we can start a new game. Once again, 7 is always a good option. And I went through these. Player name. It can be changed at any time. If you know, you know. But oh, I was expecting a cutscene. This looks pretty minimalist. I was kind of expecting an NPC, but I like it. Cutscene. I don't talk for cutscenes, so we can let them play out. and we're straight into things. In the bottom right, it's raining. I'm sorry if the audio sounded weird during that cutscene. Uh, I think I like tripped and pulled on my headphones, like the wire cord. So I might have to get new ones because they're acting funky. Okay, but alright, so you can jump, and then if you're next to a wall, you can like bounce off it a little bit. Then you have circle, the right button for normal sprint, or you have L3 for a faster sprint. I don't know if that's a visual. I think it's a visual glitch. So we can just move on. Lock on. While locked on, change targets. Yep. Every area has a number of key locations. Key locations may be protected by enemies or traps, but they often house equipment and runes. While exploring the field, use the map to track key locations, which can offer a great boost to character power. Use the map menu to check the locations of allies and learn about key locations. Freely place pins to serve as landmarks for exploration, or to share locations between allies. The detailed views show additional info on key locations on the map menu. And then R3 to switch. Huh. Okay, so you can move with the map open, and you can see what direction you're looking in. That's very nice. And then left analog stick is to move, right analog stick is to move this. And then R2 and L2 are to zoom in. Huh. And then R1 is to swap between these. Up and down do this. I'm assuming this is caves, and this is overworld. Square does nothing, and triangle still lets you jump. R3 shows this, so there's a treasure chest inside of there. I don't know how to place pins. I'll figure that out on my own time. The things look different. But the moveset, that is a very nice R1 chain. That is a very nice R2 chain. Love that follow-up. You have buckler parry, and then stamp upward cut. Good to know. Jump. Okay, so that is automatic. You just have to keep moving forward. And I know most of this, considering I played Elden Ring. I'm doing this just a surge sprint. So I'm doing this partially just to show my initial reaction, and partially to show you in case you're thinking about getting the game but you're unsure. After jumping, jump again while facing a wall to perform a wall jump. Use movement to jump in a designated direction when wall jumping. Depending on the height of the wall, it may also be possible to climb it. This... I know this as a reused asset. This is where the Saints Bridge side of Grace is. And over there's a merchant, and then D. That's kind of cool. And this is to show us that we could climb up these. I had to manually press triangle twice there. So you can't just mindlessly brute force it. This looks like Kenneth Heights area. Just okay. Cold Guitar or Duelist Great Axe. Rarity and passive effects. All acquired equipment has a rarity and passive effect. Items of higher rarity are of higher quality. At lower player levels, some equipment has greatly reduced effectiveness. Passive effects are active while an item is in one's possession, and the passive effect of multiple items stack, with some exceptions. Learn about acquired equipment. Okay. So if you have two things that improve jump attacks, then they'll improve jump attacks even more. Good to know. Good to know. Armaments have special abilities called skills. Skills are highly varied and can include anything from powerful attack berries, which intercept enemy moves, and even the application of temporary effects. Using skills consumes FP. Yep. Yeah, so this is definitely Kenneth Heights area. Reused a little bit. Redone a little bit, because normally the staircase is here going up that way, but here they put it there. Not saying that that's a bad thing, just... Multiple periodic glint blades. Yes, please. Defeating enemies restores HP. Very much yes, please. But yeah, I don't see reused assets as a necessarily bad thing. Character skills. Character skills are special abilities unique to each player character. Each character executes their skill with a special action that can only be repeated after a period of cooldown. The Wilder's skill is Claw Shot. Launch a grappling claw to rope in foes or move swiftly by retracting. Oh. Neat. But I think it can be a good thing or a bad thing, just depending on context. And in its simplest form, I have two criteria. One is, do I enjoy it? And two, does it make sense? Warming stone, lightning grease, fire pot. I'm not big on consumables, so probably won't be using a whole lot of those. But then there's a third, smaller criteria of, do they do something new with it? And Kenneth Heights area, if it's just used as like an early thing, I can enjoy it. Does it make sense? It's a basic castle, so yeah, that makes sense. And did they do something new with it? they sure did. They rearranged things a bit. Sites of Grace. Merely passing through a site of grace replenishes HP and FP, heals all status ailments, and replenishes the Sacred Flask. Sites of Grace can also be used for leveling up. Neat. Alright, so that's just make things faster. Level up menu. Spend runes to level up on the level up menu. Each additional level boosts numerous stats. Each character's stats rise at different rates. The higher the level, the more runes required to level up. Alright, so you just hit the interact button and move on. You can affix your own pins to the map as well as those of your allies. You can also stack your own pins on top of each other. Hold while an ally's... Okay. I'm assuming this is a downed ally. That's something I heard about. Yep. When a character's HP is fully depleted, they will enter a near-death state. They will be unable to perform any action other than basic movement and do not have long to live. The near-death gauge appears when a character enters this state. Attacking will deplete the gauge and revive the ally. The near-death gauge is extended by each brush with death, but an extended near-death gauge shortens while the character remains alive. Passing through... Okay. So, it's at 1 bar now, but if they go down, it'll become 2 bars. If they go down again, it'll become 3 bars. But if they survive long enough or hit a site of grace, it'll go back to 1 bar. Neat. Duchess. That tree is, like that, it's day 1. There's some funky stuff. It'll get patched out.
I have thee now.
Jesus Christ.
To thine ambition. I will swallow all who dare.
I rolled too late. That was terrifying, though. He just exploded out. Basically out of me. I don't know how to use the items. Interesting. Also, I have not played against Margit in a while. So... Oh, you can lock on your allies. Neat. Alright, this is death. And I accept that. Probably supposed to die here, honestly. I would assume so, at least. Death and Revival. Upon death, a character revives nearby at the cost of 1 level. The character's runes, including runes for the lost level, are dropped at the location of death where they can be retrieved. However, a character dies before retrieving dropped runes, they are permanently lost. Nearby foes sometimes snatch up dropped runes, but the runes can still be retrieved by defeating the offending foe. That was something unique to Bloodborne. I'm glad they're bringing that back. Alright, so there's that. I was trying to figure out how to use... Ah, it's up on the D-pad. Good to know.
Pluck thou hast, but to know
So I'll say it after this. Ultimate arts are powerful special abilities that are unique to each character. An ultimate art can be executed once the ultimate art gauge is full. Ultimate arts have the power to turn the tide of battle. The Wilder's ultimate art is an onslaught stake, a powerful single attack that launches an iron stake with a great explosion, which looks like the charged heavy from the stake driver in Bloodborne. So, cool. But glad to see that he's gotten new moves. I was trying to move to the right there and I got stuck. So, that's something that might want to get fixed in upcoming patches. Not sure where that flask came from, but cool. And I don't want to talk too much, just so you can absorb what's going on here. Not getting those periodic... Ah, there they are. So I'm assuming that the periodic glint blades only show up if you're holding the weapon. Neat. Alright, so... Go. I got stuck on the rock. Tried to move back, but I got stuck on it. So again, that's something that's gonna hopefully be fixed in upcoming patches. And it's something I've noticed in Elden Ring as well, where there's some places where you just wouldn't get caught in Dark Souls, but you do here. Cutscene. So maybe you are supposed to die. Twice.
Long, long ago, the lands between were visited by a great war. The Shattering, as it was known, destroyed order itself. Drawing forth in time an abomination. Thus fell upon us the night. Now heavy rains harry the region, threatening to wash away its very history. the Night Lord does not rest. As it ravages the lands between beyond recognition. But there are those who would fight back. The Nightfarers. Brought together by happenstance, their commonalities are but few. No shared station, era, or even purpose. Yet together, they are bound by a will. The will to cross the endless night and fight on. Till every shred of their being is ground away. Alas, the curtain may be drawing to a close upon this world. You are awake. I know not why, but once again it has happened. So be it. Condemned, I welcome you to the Roundtable Hold. I am the priestess, the voice of your formless master. You were chosen for your potential to vanquish the night. The Night Lord is a living cataclysm, bent on laying waste to the very land that anchors us. Unless we bring its end, our world will be undone. And for this, I need your help.
The Shrouded Roundtable Hold achievement. So, from what I've just seen there, love her design. She's got something over her eyes. It looks like the crown that the Firekeeper has in Dark Souls 3. But the Roundtable Hold. The Roundtable Hold is a nexus for launching expeditions. Travel to the lands between from the Great Site of Grace. Change characters, conduct relic rites, and otherwise prepare for expeditions. Use the Roundtable Hold menu to travel directly to a facility of interest. NB. Not sure what that means. But this explanation can be accessed anytime from the visual codex in the Roundtable Hold. And I saw a little bit of this, and I was so excited. Like, what the Roundtable Hold looks like in this game. Because this kind of architecture, and this kind of visual, of like, just medieval stone castle-like architecture, that's just been overgrown, decayed, abandoned. I absolutely love it. But we're gonna poke around here, see what this is about. I'm not gonna go into any expeditions this part, but we can sniff around here for a bit.
This is a hidden refuge, a place where warriors gather. Rest assured, though it is in disrepair, you will be safe here. We even have a caretaker. He might strike you as odd, but he is worthy of trust. Speak to him, if you please. Speak as you wish.
What does our formless master have to say?
This message is for you. You will hear it often. Seekers of redemption. On the third night, this land will fall. Band together and prepare to claim the life of the Night Lord. That is all. Oh. Regrettably, I have no means to fight. It might strike you as presumptuous, but I am in need of your help all the same. Speak as you wish. I await your return.
Alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 ways to go. This looks like a combat section. Sparring grounds. Use the sparring grounds to learn controls and practice fighting. Use the sparring equipment menu to change the loadout settings and the sparring settings menu to change conditions for sparring. Upon departing on an expedition, any equipment borrowed from the sparring grounds is automatically returned. Alright, so this is just a place to test out what your attacks look like and try out different weapons. Animate. Oh my god, an enemy! That critical hit animation looks very nice. That guard counter animation looks extremely nice. Alright, so they have... Goodbye. Sir, please, no. Alright, and... I'm assuming this brings us to somewhere else. Yep. This brings us back in. So that loops in on itself. And this change character. Change characters on the character selection menu. Find out more about a character's background and unique skills browsing their visual codex and utilizing the sparring grounds. So there's Wilder, Sixth Sense, cheat death a single time. So when I was fighting Margit and dying, I would like jump backwards. That was that. And then Claw Shot and Onslaught Stake we've already seen. And we have access to 6 different characters right now. Then we've got Guardian. Passive ability, Steel Guard. Plant feet and brace with shield for a more powerful guard. Character skill, Whirlwind. Beat Wing to whip up a wind-turning cyclone. And the ultimate art, Wings of Salvation. Leap up and dive back down to raise protective area. Then Iron Eye. With the passive ability, Eagle Eye. A keenly observant eye discovers more items to obtain from foes. Neat. Character skill, Marking. Cut foes with dagger, creating temporary weak point. And then the ultimate art, Single Shot. Fire powerful arrow that surpasses sound and ignores any defenses. Then we have Raider, which gives me big Tragoth vibes. Passive ability, Fighter's Resolve. Taking down to boost retaliate potency. Cannot be knocked down while using it. Character skill, Retaliate. Assume attack stance and pummel vigorously. With the ultimate art of Totem Stella. Drive Gatekeeper's Wedge into Earth to summon a giant tombstone. And then Recluse. With the passive ability Elemental Defense. Discover affinity residues that can be collected to replenish FP. Character skill, Magic Cocktail. Collect the affinity residues of targets to fire an affinity exploiting magic cocktail. With the ultimate art, Soul Blood Song. Unleash Forbidden Blood Chant to brand nearby enemy foes with blood sigils. And finally, Executor. With the passive ability Tenacity. Receive boost after recovering from status ailment. A character skill, Cursed Sword. Draw a cursed sword that can deflect enemy attacks. So that's the Sekiro thing we've been seeing in the trailers. Ultimate art, aspects of the Crucible Beast. Assume the form of a primordial beast. Interesting. And I believe they said there would be 8 characters, so we're going to get another 2 soon. I heard one was called Revenant. Out of these 6, I would go with Wilder, because great sword supremacy. But he seems like the most popular one, and even though you can pick the same character, like everyone can go the same character, I'm not going to do that. Also, Duchess isn't here. But I'm probably going to go with either Raider or Recluse. Raider because he fits my kind of play style better. Not as good as Wilder, but probably not as popular. Or Recluse because of the armor set. Like, witch hat and robes, I'm a big fan of. But for now, we can stick with this. And here, this just... I was going to say, this looks over the training runs, but no, it doesn't. View Victor's record. So I'm guessing these are people who were able to beat a Night Lord, I suppose? Or were able to beat some kind of challenge? Ooh. Also, large bodies of water. I absolutely love just massive bodies of water. That's gonna be death. I don't know if there's any purpose to this section. Or there will be purpose, but just not yet. But even if it's just visual, that is gorgeous. So, I would say that my biggest concern for the game right now is the whole 3-player thing. What's down here? I hope that they'll eventually change things up a bit and make it to where you can go in completely alone or with 2 players and have balancing around that. Yeah, not like completely change things entirely, but make it to where, like, if you go in alone, you have more health, defense, and damage. Or there's, like, less enemies, or enemies have less health. Because I think that would add variety, it would add replayability, and it would just add quality of life for people who tend to go in solo. But this seems like just a visual thing, at least for now. But yeah, as I said, this is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, Godfrey. Someone else. someone else, kind of gives me Nepheli Lu vibes, and then Erdtree. And then it was, yeah. Open journal. Journal. Check progress of each character's journey using the journal. The fatigue of constant worrying has robbed the Nightfarers of selected memories. Reclaim lost memory fragments to restore past experiences to their journal. Persistence in battle will yield memory fragments, but at times might require the help of someone at the Roundtable Hold. Chapter 1. The Wilder departed from his faraway home, braving the sea of fog to reach a Limveld. So that's the name of this place. Not the Roundtable Hold, but like the main area where you go in expeditions. The Nightfarer's phrase, wither the soul and cloud recollection, causing one night to bleed into the next. But of one thing that was difficult for me for some reason, but of one thing he remained certain. He must track down the Night Lord and bury it. There was no choice. He repeated the words to himself, all the while clenching a precious object in his hand, a solitary earring, its counterpart long lost. For the Guardian was born in the Winged Realm, becoming a knight of the Pinion Folk, sworn to protect its lands and peoples. In the splintered memories of the Guardian are two flocks. The old flock from his home nation who he failed to protect, who died, and the new flock, who fare with him against the night. Iron Eye. Chapter 1. Instructions sent to the Fellowship to the Iron Eye. From the Fellowship to the Iron Eye. Iron Eye, beloved child of the Fellowship. We have received a word that Bartier... That's a new name. That you have fulfilled your duty. Your compensation is on its way. Remain at your present location. A new substantial task will soon be upon you, which will likely require journeying to the lands between. Details to follow. Ever your custodian, Isolde. P.S. Please forget what I said the other day. It was pure balderdash, spoken in frustration. Raider, Chapter 1. The pirates of the coastal waters loved nothing more than a worthy rival, and thus the raider made his way to Limveld. The encroaching Night Lord was precisely the challenge he wished for, or so his institution told him. The moment he stepped foot in the Roundtable Hold, he knew that he was right, and when he donned the white horned helmet, he was certain that he would hear the gentle murmuring of waves of the coastal waters that were once so familiar. Recluse, Chapter 1. Though my fellows call me by the name of Recluse, mine origin is as one of many, a witch of the deep woods. Best location to exist, the deep woods. From mine seclusion amongst the trees, cause did I have to journey forth to Limveld, for I had mind to search for a certain something coiled in shadow. And finally, for now, the executioner, or executor. Chapter 1. Mine flesh, partially plated, mine hand with brush, a window into oneself. Brushstrokes outline these fragments of memory. Oh, mannequin.
Welcome to the Roundtable Hold, brave champion. I am but a humble attendant, here to serve your needs. I am told that each of you has committed a grave misdeed, but I beg to differ. You aim to preserve this very land, and that is no small matter. Indeed, it is an ambition most worthy of praise. I've spruced up the facilities to make your stay as pleasant as possible. By all means, do make yourself at home. How are you faring today, champion?
Let's go with talk.
The arena of champions. The great lands between tremble in the grasp of the night. As the day wanes, This grip will only tighten. Beware the terror that is Rain. How are you faring today, champion?
What explains your appearance?
You wish to know about me? I began as one among many, a single cog in a great machine of war. But then I was selected for modification, to become proficient in the field of housekeeping. It did not proceed entirely as expected. I was tossed away, only to wake up here, where I began my domestic duties. Hardly the most riveting of tales, I'm afraid. How are you faring? Speak to me should you require anything at all.
Okay. And we have a room in here. Bird tree. Someone kind of looks like Radion a little bit. They have red hair. I'm assuming there's going to be something here eventually. And I'm assuming they're going to have more in the future. But taking the Roundtable Hold as like a blueprint and making all of this, that is incredibly impressive. Perform relic rites. Relic rites menu. To invoke the power of a relic in your possession, conduct a relic rite via the relic rites menu. The supporting effect of the invoked relic activates upon leaving for an expedition. Relics are permanent additions to your inventory. However, relics must be placed on the matching colors of a vessel. Each character has their own vessel. Additional relics can be purchased from the small Jar Bazaar. Acquired relics can also be sold. So Wilder has 2 reds and a blue. Guardian has a red and 2 yellows. Iron Eye has a yellow and 2 greens. Raider has a red and 2 greens. Recluse has 2 blues and a green. Executor has a red and 2 yellows. And then we can sell. And we don't have anything right now. Okay. But yeah, just this area visually is incredibly impressive. Oh, it's Raider and Executor. So it seems like this is where the NPCs or the different like playable characters hang out. Okay. Open Visual Codex. Visual Codex menu. View various gameplay stats with the Visual Codex. The guide contains elementary explanations and fundamental concepts. The handbook contains detailed explanations concerning combat. View records of past expeditions via result history. Wilder, a young man long in pursuit of the Night Lord. His swordsmanship has defied death at every turn with his stunning sixth sense for combat. He swore to avenge the night in the name of his massacred tribe. His attributes are balanced through maturation, like through maturing. With excellent HP, strength, and dexterity, able to command all types of melee weapons. Preference, great swords. And then attributes HP, FP, stamina, strength, dexterity, intelligence, faith, and arcane. And yeah, S is the highest, then A, B, C, D, E, then F. A guardian. Pinion folk knight of the winged realm, a former captain who was injured in a war in which his country's fate hung in the balance. Faced the brunt of the enemy warriors' attacks to protect his flock, boasts high HP and stamina, and plays both offense and defense on the front line armed with his shield. Preference, halberds. Iron Eye, assassin of the Fellowship. He is feared for his split-second judgment and the ability to spot even the most fleeting of chances to strike, earning him the moniker Iron Eye. Boasts excellent dexterity and wields control over any battle while firing from a distant range. Preference, bows. Raider, a pirate who sailed to the lands between from a nearby waterway. The opportunity to try his hand against the Night Lord proved too glorious of an opportunity to pass up. Boasting high HP and strength, his poise allows him to stand firm against moderate attacks and flatten opponents with vigorous offenses. Preference: great axes, great hammers, and colossal weapons. Recluse, one of the witches of the deep forest, a caster of ancient sorceries who dwells in obscurity far into the heart of the woods. She came to the lands between to answer a burning question. Boasts high intelligence and faith and is able to deftly cast all manner of spells. Preference: none. And then Executor. This condemned soul with a body fused with pieces of armor went missing after a prison stint in the lands between. Brandishes a cursed sword and savors every battle. Boasts high dexterity and arcane, and is unrivaled in one-on-one fights while armed with his cursed sword with a preference for katanas. And that just shows you their abilities. Equipment. I'm only going to look at the stuff that's new to Nightreign. Duchess's Dagger. A dagger carried by the Duchess known to symbolize the virtue of her family. Though she was not born into her adopted house, she was welcomed into it with open arms. And though unrelated by blood, the nobility and righteousness of her clan took root within her heart. And you have dagger, parrying dagger, great knife, mirror bloodstained dagger, Erdtree dagger, wakizashi, celebrant sickle, ivory sickle, crystal knife, scorpion stinger, cincadia, glintstone crisper, nuvia, blade of calling, and black knife, which were all in the base game, or in normal Elden Ring. Short sword, long sword, broadsword, weathered straight sword, noble slender sword, lord sword, straight sword, cane sword, warhawk's talon, lazuli, glintstone sword, carrion knight sword, crystal sword, rotten crystal sword, Michelin knight sword, ornamental straight sword, golden epitaph, sword of St. Trina, regalia of Eochaid, coated sword, and sword of night and flame, which were all in normal Elden Ring. Wilder's greatsword, a single-edged greatsword that is tattered and dull, worn beyond repair, but ingrained with unrelated vengeance. This weapon recalls the numerous foes felled by the Wilder. A strike, smash, gouge. Any foe's game, as long as a weapon is handy. And then Bastard Sword, Iron Greatsword, Lord Sword's Greatsword, Claymore, Knight's Greatsword, Banished Knight Greatsword, Forked Greatsword, Flame Bird, Inseparable Sword, Gargoyle's Greatsword, Gargoyle's Black Blade, Sword of Milos, Ordovis's Greatsword, Alabaster Lord Sword, Death's Poker, Helfin Steeple, Mariah's Executioner Sword, Blasphemous Blade, Golden Order Greatsword, Dark Moon Greatsword, and Sacred Relic Sword. Then Zweihander Greatsword, Watchdog's Greatsword, Troll's Golden Sword, Troll's Knight Sword, Royal Greatsword, Godslayer's Greatsword, Grafted Blade Greatsword, Ruin's Greatsword, Starscourge Greatsword, Malekith's Black Blade. Then Rapier, Estoc, Noble's Estoc, Cleanrot Knight Sword, Rogier's Rapier, Ansper Rapier, and Frozen Needle. Then Great Epee, Godskin Stitcher, Bloody Hellas, Dragon King's Cragblade, and then Scimitar, Falchion, Bandit's Curved Sword, Shot Hell, Shamshear, Grossmesser, Scavenger's Curved Sword, Mantis Blade, Beastman Curved Sword, Serpent God Curved Sword, Flowing Curved Sword, Magma Blade, Nox Flowing Sword, Wing of Estelle, and Eclipse Shot Hell. Oh, my voice is getting torn up because, again, kind of sick and a lot of talking, so I'm just going to read what's new and then kind of do a second over the rest, just to give my voice a bit of a break. Executor's Blade, a single-edged katana with a long, sharp, curved blade, a unique weapon wielded by the samurai from the land of reeds. The executor found the sword abandoned in the aftermath of a battle and has wielded it ever since, stained with gold and rusted blood. I was hoping to see a new twin blade. Raider's Great Axe. Raider's preferred weapon, a great axe fashioned from a ship's figurehead. On his first voyage, the Raider vanquished countless pirates on the high seas. When a figurehead was dislodged from its ship during a tumultuous back and forth, the Raider claimed it for himself, that it might later serve as a reminder of his glorious exploits. Guardian's Halberd, a halberd wielded by warriors of the Winged Realm, engraved with the crest of a wing, which also serves to reduce its weight. The Winged Realm is populated entirely by pinion folk, for whom the wing is a proud symbol of their bloodline. I was hoping to see another scythe as well. Revenant's Cursed Claws, a silver accessory that attaches claws to the ring and little fingers. A lady bore the claw before meeting a horrific death, which transformed the claw into a fetish. Swing to slash enemies apart. Only the Revenant can make proper use of this weapon, owing to her resonance with the spiritual. For other warriors, the claw is reduced to a blunt instrument. And yet, Revenant is another character I might look into using. That's all the melee weapons. So for bows, Iron Eye's bow, a black, lustrous bow wielded by the Iron Eye, one of the finest instruments crafted by the Fellowship. The assassins of the Fellowship can each wield unique weapons, such that their targets marked for death anticipate all manner of approaches, some of them driven to the brink by fear, find relief by taking their own lives before it is too late. And that counts as a short bow, which is interesting. And then for shields, a Wilder's Small Shield, a small wooden round shield. It is light and easy to handle, but cannot offer the damage negation of a metal shield. The crest on the shield of a particular style of a faraway land is interpreted as a depiction of grasslands and blowing winds. Guardian's Great Shield. A great shield wielded by soldiers of the Winged Realm, engraved with the crest of a wing, which also serves to reduce its weight. The Winged Realm is populated entirely by Pinion folk, for whom the wing is a proud symbol of their bloodline. And then for Catalyst, we have Recluse's Staff. A staff bound in red-drenched laurels that curses foes, serves as a catalyst for sorceries. The laurels, imbued with a blood rite, unlock the peculiar fields of magic that flow through a given region. In the lands between, the staff invokes the strength of glintstones. And then finally, not finally, but talismans. I wonder how useful the Silver Scare was going to be. But then, finally, tools. Wending Grace. An afterglow of lost grace unleashed by the tide of night allows one to rise from defeat a single time. Will take effect when kept in possession, lost upon use. The world crumbles, and yet light, forgetful of its own path, still seeks a follower to bestow guidance upon summoning again grace once lost. I wonder, are we going to get Flask of Wondrous Physic as a guaranteed thing? Or is that going to be another item and it's like, oh, you got the one with the spiked crack tier, or oh, you got the one with the leaden hard tier? Kind of like how you can get items like these. I am curious on that. But I'm already feeling under the weather, so once we get through this, I think I'm just gonna go lay down and breathe. Alright, so we only have Smithing Stone 1 and 2, which in normal Elden Ring, this is a visual for, I believe, Smithing Stone 3, and this is for Smithing Stone 7 or 8. But we only get 2 here. Small pouch. A handmade leather pouch gifted to departing travelers. Increases item equip slots. Any self-respecting adventurer will make ample use of these helpful pouches that can keep an assortment of trusted tools within easy reach. Okay. And we're just gonna keep going. And if I see any new ones, which have always been the first, I'll read them. But I like to keep things under an hour, and we have surpassed an hour, so this is going to be one of the few instances of me going over an hour just for the tutorial and just going through the Roundtable Hold. I would have sat down and given my thoughts on it, what we've seen so far, but because of the time, I'm not going to do that. I'll do that in the next part. Magic Dagger, unique skill. Slash with a magic and wreathed blade. The magic coating lasts for some time. Skill that builds from Glintstone Pebble sorcery. Charge. I think we've seen this before, but it just has a new visual to it. A lot of these, there were no visuals before, but now there are. And that's pretty cool. Because some of these are awesome. Kind of want to slow down just to appreciate them. Because, yeah, some of them do look really good. But we gotta keep moving. We don't want to be here for 2 hours. Being here for 2 hours might not be a bad thing in normal circumstances, but again, sick. So, and rallying standard looks really nice. But I can't think of a worse time to get sick. Huh. Yeah, obviously there are some assets that are mostly reused, but I don't think of this as like a fully new game. I'm approaching Nightreign from the perspective of it being like an expansion, kind of like a DLC, but bigger. Or maybe like a spin-off game. And I can see why some people would be upset about that. But personally, I'm more upset by the fact that you can't really go in solo than us having a game of mostly reused assets. And yet, all of these that I'm not reading came from base Elden Ring. Which is why I'm mostly skipping over them. Also, for the sake of time and my voice. But I heard they changed how spells work in this. And that when you get a seal, it'll have like 1 or 2 spells just assigned to it already. And then that's just what you get. Guide. The guide can be used to learn basic actions and controls, and is a source of useful knowledge about expeditions. Also, while this explanation is displayed, press square to replay the initial gameplay tutorial, and then square to play tutorial. That's nice how you can replay it at any time. Runes and Merc. Defeating enemies in the lands between will earn runes. Runes can be used to purchase items, level up characters, and much more. When out on an expedition, Merc is accumulated at the Roundtable Hold. Merc can be used to purchase items through the Small Jar Bazaar and other traders. Runes are lost upon launching an expedition, but Merc will remain until spent. Alright, so when you beat an expedition or die, whichever happens, do you bring runes here with you and then you can spend them on things, but then lose whatever you have left when going to the next expedition? Because that's kind of what I'm getting from that. Rescuing from near death. When a character's HP is fully depleted, they will enter a near-death state. They will be unable to perform any action other than basic movement and do not have long to live. The near-death gauge appears when a character enters the state. Attacking will deplete the gauge and revive the ally. The near-death gauge is extended by each brush with death, but an extended near-death gauge shortens while the character remains alive. Passing through a site of grace will also reset the gauge to its original length. Death and revival. Upon death, a character revives nearby at the cost of level 1. The character's runes, including the runes for the lost level, are dropped at the location of death, where they can be retrieved. However, if a character dies before retrieving dropped runes, they are permanently lost to nearby foes. Sometimes snatch up dropped runes, but the runes can still be retrieved by the offending foe. Night's Tide. Areas afflicted by the Night's Tide deplete HP. Avoid staying in such places for long. Sites of Grace. Merely passing through a site of grace replenishes HP and FP, heals all status elements, and replenishes the Sacred Flask. Sites of Grace can also be used for leveling up. Level up menu. We've already read some of these. I can stop for a minute, just so you can read them. Check special effects and equipment of characters. Alright, yeah, so X plus up is to use immediately. But I just pressed up. I don't think I pressed X, and I used it. Let's see, ties to other worlds. In rare cases, lingering phantoms of warriors in other worlds appear in the lands between. These phantoms are fleeting, but resonating with them through touch replenishes the ultimate art gauge. Equipment can be extracted from fallen phantoms as well. The victim's grief compounds and their yearnings are passed on to the player who claims the heirloom. NB phantoms are shared in online mode. Once a phantom is shared, it can be viewed in offline mode. Okay. And then gestures. You can have your character perform simple poses through the gestures found in the equipment menu. You can obtain new gestures through the Small Jar Bazaar, as well as through other means. Press triangle while in the equipment menu. Alright. So you get this one for pre-ordering the game. Neat. But continuing on, Expedition Region, using the map menu, use the map menu to check the locations of allies and learn what key locations. Freely place pins to serve as landmarks for exploration or to share locations between allies. The detailed view shows additional info on key locations. Key locations are indicated by the following icons. Fort, outpost full of soldiers, strategic maps of the surrounding area can be found in these locations, which reveal things hidden nearby. Great church, crumbling houses of worship, the faithful are known to leave their sacred seals in these locations. Main encampment, large garrisons, home to powerful armies, expect to find many strong enemies. Ruins, vestiges from ages past, home to strong foes and hidden underground chambers. Tunnel entrance, mining tunnels containing ore which can tamper armaments. Castle, citadels abounding with danger. These strongholds should only be challenged by those whose skill can equal their bravery. Field boss, strong foes who wander from place to place. Misjudge their might at your peril. Everjail, cells holding prisoners whose seals weaken over time. Township, long deserted place of safety. Merchants with rare goods are known to operate from these places. Church, house of worship visited by pilgrims. Sacred flask uses can be increased in these locations. God, I'm a little loopy right now. But towers in which sorcerers experiment with their spellcraft. Their findings often encrypted by cipher. Very occasionally, you may come across a tower in which a sorcerer from the distant past once resided. Environmental info indicated by the following icons. Grace. These sites offer places of respite for weary warriors, restoring HP, FP, status ailments, and uses of the Sacred Flask. Runes can be spent at sites of grace to level up. Spectral Hawk Tree. Trees where spectral hawks rest their wings. Warriors can take to the skies via Spectral Road. You can find these roads marked on the map. Spirit Stream. Energy that gushes forth from great rents in the land, allowing those who attune with its flow to reach great heights. Scarab. Carriers of valuable things, talismans can be taken from them. Buried treasure. Chests containing rare and precious objects, hidden such that others would not find them. Mission objective. Indicates the task at hand for the Nightfarers will only appear under certain circumstances. I'm assuming that has to do with the journals. Finding armaments and items. Likely spots for armaments and items at key locations are indicated by the following icons on the detailed view of the map. Sacred flask refills, hidden info nearby, merchants and smithing tables, weapon rack with bows, weapon rack with staves, which are for sorceries, weapon case with sacred seals, which is for incantations. You have to show tunnel. Pins can be placed on nearby items. X plus L3 over nearby items to place a pin on an item. Okay. The map is not the only place to use pins. When an allied player places a pin, the location is highlighted. Center the pin on the middle of the screen to directly place your own pin at the same location. Hold while an ally's pin is centered on the screen to stack a pin. When necessary, you can quickly transmit your present location by pressing X and L3. Shops. Spend runes to purchase items at shops. Merchants normally sell all the same selection of items, though some are limited in quantity. However, some merchants offer entirely unique wares. Strength and armament menu. On the Strengthen Armament menu, use smithing stones to strengthen armaments. Each smithing stone upgrades an armament by 1 level. Smithing Stone 1 upgrades common armaments into uncommon armaments, and Smithing Stone 2 upgrades uncommon into rare. And then Armament Replication. Select an armament in inventory while using the Armament Replication menu to obtain another weapon with identical stats. On each expedition, each player can replicate a weapon 1 time. Special Smithing Stable. Somewhere in the land is a special smithing table that can be used to smith with an extraordinary technique. The smithing stand allows an armament of any rarity to be upgraded to legendary. On each expedition, each player can only use a special smithing table 1 time. Material effects. Find berries, flowers, butterflies, and other materials across the lands between. These materials offer temporary effects. Materials collected by allies have a lingering effect. Go to that location to benefit from the effect. Neat. And cataclysms. The night corrodes the earth, triggering regional cataclysms. The night's corrosive grip robs the region's denizens of their self-will and unleashes terrifying strength within them. Cataclysms are said to link to other worlds, allowing those who fail to traverse the night to wreak havoc. Braving a cataclysm can yield fine accoutrements. Difficult word, and I'm a bit loopy right now, so that word. And a great many runes, but at great risk. Roundtable Hold. We read that already, I believe. Character selection, yep. Relic rights menu, visual code, yep. Journal, yep. Sparring grounds. Yeah. So we've gone through all that already. Handbook. HP. HP is the life force of the player. Damage depletes HP, and fully depleting HP results in a kill. For player characters, however, losing all HP results in near death. Lost HP can be restored by using the Sacred Flask or by passing through a Site of Grace. FP. FP is the energy used to cast sorceries and incantations and to execute skills. Sorceries, incantations, and skills deplete FP. Without sufficient FP, these skills are ineffective. Lost FP can be restored with certain items or by passing through a Site of Grace. Stamina. Stamina is required to perform several actions in a row. Attacks, dodges, and various actions deplete the stamina gauge. Without sufficient stamina, these actions cannot be performed. Stamina is automatically restored over time. Stamina is only depleted by actions taken during battle. Movement. Characters can utilize many movement options. Dashing only requires a small amount of stamina, but surge sprinting consumes a great deal. The camera. You can use the camera to look around freely or fixed upon a specific target. Jumping. We've already done jumping. The Sacred Flask modeled after the golden holy chalice that was once graced by a tear of blessing. Carried by all player characters, the flask filled with crimson tears restores HP with use. It is fully replenished after dying or by reaching a Site of Grace. It can also replenish itself slowly over time. Yeah, that's something I noticed but didn't mention because I was in the middle of the Morgott fight. Was just after a period of time, I would just get get another flask back. But though it is unable to do so during certain combat encounters or during the small hours of the night. Using items. Acquired items are equipped in item slots. Some grant special effects, others can be used in combat, and more. Most items are consumed in use, but some are reusable and instead consume FP. Some items can be used while airborne. And yet, up on the D-pad is to use them. Wielding armaments. Yeah, we've done that already. Attacking bows. Equip a bow to fire arrows. Arrow stock is unlimited. Wielding a bow with both hands enables precision aiming. Great bows, crossbows, and ballistas are handled identically to bows. Yep. Sorceries and incantations equip a staff, a sacred seal, or other catalyst to cast sorceries and incantations at the cost of FP. Each catalyst can cast 2 distinct spells. Yeah. Guarding. Use an armament in your left hand or both hands to guard against incoming attacks. Guarding is especially effective when done with a shield. Guarding consumes stamina. If your stamina runs out, your stance will be broken. Dodging. You can avoid enemy attacks with a dodge roll or backstep. Both these actions consume stamina. Certain foes execute powerful attacks imbued with darkness. A successful dodge will absorb this darkness and replenish the ultimate art gauge. In response to an enemy's attack with a dark blue shine, dodge roll. Passive abilities. Each player character possesses a unique passive ability. The passive ability of a character is effective at all times and can complement various strategies. Character skills. Character skills are special abilities. Yeah, we already read that. I believe we already read that. Guard counters. You can perform a counterattack immediately after blocking an enemy attack. Guard counters make it easy to break an enemy's stance. And you do that by shielding and then doing a heavy. Stance breaking. Some enemy attacks may break an enemy's stance and give you the chance to perform a critical hit. Turret attacks, jump attacks, and affinity attacks selected to target enemy vulnerabilities all make it easier to break an enemy's stance. Oh, this is a lot. Attributes. Characters are defined by 8 attributes. Each attribute has a unique distribution of attribute values, making them more or less able to handle certain armaments or magic. Leveling up raises attribute values, affecting the character's proficiency with different armaments and magic. Vigor boosts HP, Mind boosts FP, Endurance boosts stamina, Strength boosts attack power with heavy armaments, Dexterity boosts attack power with advanced armaments, Intelligence boosts sorceries, Faith boosts healing and power of incantations, Arcane increases status ailments. Attack affinities. Armaments, magic, items, and enemy attacks all possess different damage affinities. Damage can be physical or non-physical. Physical damage is divided into standard, striking, slashing, and piercing. The types of damage dealt depends on the weapon used and how it is wielded. The remaining types of damage can be divided into fire, magic, lightning, and holy. Some enemies are especially vulnerable to certain damage affinities, which are more likely to cause stagger. Awareness of damage types can make the difference in battle. Status ailments. Armaments, magic, items, and enemy attacks can cause status ailments. Receiving noxious attacks causes the relevant ailment gauge to fill. A full gauge triggers a corresponding ailment. There are 7 types of status ailments. Poison, continuous damage. Scarlet Rot, continuous damage but worse. Blood loss, higher damage with higher max HP. So, poison and Scarlet Rot are damage over time. Blood loss is instant. Frostbite, higher damage with higher max HP. Also receive more damage for some time. So, Frostbite is like blood loss where it's instant. Sleep, lose FP and enter a state of high vulnerability. Madness, lose a high loss of HP and FP. And you also get into an animation like sleep where you become vulnerable. And then death, the player dies. Each player and enemy has unique levels of resistance to status ailments. And then Magic Cocktail single. The Recluse Magic Cocktail skill can be used after collecting 3 affinity residues. The resulting spell depends on the affinities collected. Pure Magic. Enrapes an enemy in magic that deals damage for some time, encircling and attacking the target. Pure Fire. Throw a whirlwind of flame. Flame spreads across a small area upon contact and burns for some time. Pure Lightning. Enwreath oneself in lightning, bolstering dodging actions. Pure Holy. Enwreath oneself in holy light, bolstering poise and increasing damage negation. And then Magic Fire. Launch a Wraith Flame that pursues enemies. Magical Lightning, execute broad forward slash with Magic Blade. Hold to move with sword drawn. And then Magic Holy, cover nearby area with a Magic Veil. Fully conserving FP for self and allies for a short time. And then double 2. Fire Lightning, become Fireball and barrel forward, raining lightning on nearby foes. Fire Holy, raise a torch for a limited time that raises max HP and reduces stamina element gauge buildup for nearby allies. Also lowers max HP of nearby enemies. And then Lightning Holy, weave a mix of lightning that parries enemy attacks for a short time. And then finally, Mixed. Magic Fire Lightning, conjure forward exploding Gravity Orb. Gravity Orb pulls enemies inward, expands and explodes, inflicting heavy damage. Magic Fire and Holy spews a mixed affinity breath that inflicts damage upon enemies and restores HP and FP of allies with contact. Fire, Lightning, and Holy create Lightning Rod and thrust forward into terrain. White Lightning strikes Rod after a short delay. And Magic Lightning and Holy creates Cold Storm with area effect retreat inside Ice Block, gaining invulnerability. And then we have no result history. Oh, Recluse. But here's the Bazaar. Small Jar Bazaar. Spend mark to buy items at the Small Jar Bazaar. Items purchased here are permanent and will not be consumed when departing on an expedition. So we have gestures. We have 2 prattling pate. Love that. Delicate burning scene. Fire pots in possession at start of expedition. So if you have this, you just go into the expedition with fire pots. Delicate drizzly scene. Starting armament deals magic damage. Delicate luminous scene. Lightning grease in possession. Oh, that's kind of nice, actually. Delicate tranquil scene. Changes compatible armament skill to sacred blade. A polished burning scene. Improved throwing pot damage and improved throwing knife damage. And delicate luminous scene improves critical hits. And then finally, Scenic Flatstone. A scenic flatstone yet to be polished. Purchased to reveal its precious gift. Neat. We're gonna go down here before talking. There's a door here. Can we open? We cannot open. Or there's here. Okay. I love how there's several areas here that connect to other areas. But now, we can talk to the recluse.
Wishest thou to converse? We must put the night sky to rights, to see its beauty once more.
Okay. And out here, we have a raider.
Care for a drink? A fine beast we're facing this time. Well, take it as a challenge. Don't overthink it.
He paints a depiction of the Erd tree. It does not yet look finished. So I wonder if you change to a different character, will that character disappear and have Wilder be somewhere around here? Because I don't imagine that you would, like, choose the raider and then you can be the raider and talk to the raider. I don't imagine that's how it would work. We have a bench. You can't sit at the bench. Tragic. Hope they fix that. outer level button prompt to be able to sit at the fence. Or the bench. Iron Eye.
As ready as I'll ever be. You only need to land one good blow to punish a fleet-footed adversary. Be relentless. That's your best bet.
You got like a hook knife. It'd be cool if he started with a bow and a melee weapon. Like that hook dagger. That would be nice. Is there anything else here? I don't think so. So we know about the Duchess and the Revenant, but we couldn't choose them yet. I wonder if I need to go do some expeditions to get them, or if they'll be added automatically later. Commence expedition. Then change character. We can see what it looks like to change a character. Hold on, I didn't see Guardian anywhere. Just realized that. So I wonder where he's at. All the other characters are around here. So I would imagine he would be around here too. Could be wrong about that. Maybe he's not here at all, but I'm going with the personal assumption that he's around. I just didn't see him. So I might run around for a few more minutes looking for him. But I think we can end it here. Like I said, I just wanted to do this part to show off the tutorial, to show off this hub area, just to get a quick, quote-unquote, quick glimpse at things. Just so we can see what the game is like, and if you haven't played it, you can get this first glimpse. But as I said, very unfortunate time to get sick, and my voice is not doing well, and I'm fine. I'm not gonna die or anything. It's not something that would need like hospitalization. But it's definitely something that I can feel, especially in my throat. So, not feeling up to talking too much right now. But Nightreign came out, so it's like I had to. But with that being said, I love how this entire area turned out. Just... Oh, there he is. I was right, I didn't find him.
I will see that our deed is done. No matter how towering the beast we face, stand your ground and raise your shield. Be patient. Your window of opportunity will come.
But with that being said, I love how this area looks. I would love for us to be able to get a telescope, because, oh my god, the screenshot potential of this place is unmatched. So, I would love to get a telescope. Just like as a buyable thing from the small Jar Bazaar. It wouldn't be useful, but I would love it. Because this place seems very cozy, very comfy. Lots of screenshot potential. But, as I said before, I think it's about time to end it. So, yeah.